Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here doing another episode of An Idiot Imports. My usual disclaimer, I don't know any Japanese. I do have an app on my tablet that lets me translate text off my Vita screen, but other than that, I'm totally flying blind. So this series is meant to just to say to you, if you don't know any Japanese, how this is as an English import. With that said, let's take a look at Gundam Breaker 2. I put about 26 hours into Gundam Breaker originally. It was one of my favorite games on the Vita in, 2013? So having this come out at the end of 2014 is actually one of the coolest things imaginable. So I actually imported my save game from this. Didn't actually make that much of a difference. It gave me all my parts, but it down leveled them to the point where they were all bloody useless. So I just ended up replacing them outright. So anyway, this is the hangar. Notice how it didn't really pop you into a big menu at the beginning. They've really streamlined Gundam Breaker 1. This is a much simpler system than it was before. I haven't actually played online yet because all the times that I've tried to play online, PlayStation Network has been down constantly, and it's been annoying the shit out of me. And you actually have to turn Wi-Fi off to actually get Gundam Breaker 2 to boot, because it'll hang at like the beginning screens if you do not turn it off, because it tries to sync to like Gundam Perfect Gens for some reason. Anyway. Let's go and actually customize our Gundam for a bit, because we have a fair amount of stuff to explain. Those of you who know what Gundam Breaker is like, this might be a little bit of a shock to you. They took out all the weapon specialization systems and all that, so we've been left with all these basic stats on the right here that are affected simply by parts. There's no, all these sorts of parts affect what your attacks are. Some parts might give you a tiny bit boost to your attack on a specific weapon, but it's like you don't need to be very specific in order to actually have a good performance with a specific weapon now. So on the right there, you've got, from top to bottom, I don't remember these off by heart, but you've got, that's basically your health, your physical attack, your long-range attack, your module slots, your capacity and your total capacity. Your damage absorptions, down the first 4 percentage points are absorption and deflect for your shield and just in general. Your shield doesn't actually break in this game anymore, so it just deflects a specific amount of damage or something like that. I don't know exactly how it works. Then from there on, you've got your boost. Your boost can actually be modified now to actually last longer, which is quite nice. You've got hand-to-hand detail and a couple other things I don't remember. So now that we're done there, we can have a look at our optional equipment and EX actions and modules. They all work about the same. There's a new burst action though, and I'll show that off if I can. I only just unlocked that. So yeah, I've been playing this game for I don't know how bloody long. I've still been doing it. And you've also got levels on your part. So all your builder rank and your Gundam rank have been taken away and have been replaced with a single build breaker rank, which is basically just a single level, and it goes up the more missions you do and the more parts you upgrade and equip. So your assembly, you just put on different parts and all that, and you can increase how many module slots you have, and each model takes up a specific amount, and these modules have specific effects. Like this one here actually does auto guarding. So, but it might auto guard against a long range shot by default, and this module here gives me 3,000 health, stuff like that, right? And you can equip as many modules as you like as long as you didn't go over your slots, and there's plenty of different modules. EX actions are your special attacks, so you press R and circle to do a sword special attack, you press R and triangle to do a repair thing, which repairs a specific amount of health. You get that at the very beginning of the game, it's quite nice. And this one gives you, this one's a long range attack. And you've also got your burst action, which you can turn on Awakening for, which will show off in the game. And you press it again to drain in your entire meter and use a massive attack, which sounds quite amazing. You can actually upgrade like your EX actions here too, so if you use them enough, you actually get a second form of them, which takes longer to charge, which gives you a better ability, which is quite neat. So yeah, you assemble your parts through that, and then you go to Scratch. And Scratch lets you upgrade your individual parts, which is really, really cool, because if you like a specific weapon or a specific build, as long as you have the resources needed to upgrade this weapon, you can keep upgrading it, and you can keep it, and it can actually be functionally relevant throughout the game. Where in Gundam Breaker 1, you had to kind of toss equipment as you didn't need it anymore and replace it with new stuff. In this game, you can just get whatever equipment you damn well please, and you can carry it to the end of the game sight unseen as long as you can find the resources for it. Thumbs up. This is fantastic. You can find your favorite Gundam. I don't know shit about Gundams, but even I can see how a fan service game like Gundam Breaker, you should be able to go and get whatever Gundam you please and just use that throughout the game, and this upgrading system lets you do that. And that is fantastic, and I applaud that. That is a fantastic system. So, anyway, You can also give specific armor, specific upgrades, which does specific stuff. Hold on, I've got to find one that can actually be equipped with some sort of... Yeah, here. So you can actually give it a specific ability. Like, so this one here, I imagine will give 6,000 extra health, right? Pretty simple ability, but there are a bunch of other pieces of armor that do this too. So yeah, as you can see here, a bunch of different stuff you can do with specific pieces of armor. It's really quite magnificent. This upgrade system is just so simple. God damn it, that was loud. This upgrade system is so simple, but so complex, and I quite love it. And god damn it, hold on once. Woo, jump cut, and I'm back. That was actually quite annoying. So, we have a building weapon system. You have to get the resources you need to actually build these weapons, which is quite a little bit annoying, considering that you don't really need to build your... You don't need to build any armor, it's just weapons and shields. So you feel much more inclined to just swap out armor on the fly if it's better than what you've got, but... Yeah, I mean, this is me we're talking about. If you've got a favorite Gundam, well, you can just do whatever the hell you like. But it just feels a bit odd that you have to build all your weapons, and it's kind of annoying that you do, because then you have to upgrade them, and it's just kind of silly that you have to do that twice just for weapons. You can also come down here and paint and... what does that say? Yeah, photograph your Gundam. You can take photos and screenshots of your Gundam, and you can... didn't this used to have an AR mode? I thought it did, but yeah, you can take a photo of your Gundam, and... Yeah, I'm currently using a red saber that looks like a lightsaber, so don't judge me. I quite like lightsabers. Alright, so we'll just back out of here. So, over here, this absolutely amazingly cute robot over here gives you... is the shop, basically. So you can buy, like, pre-built Gundams and outfits and that. I'll leave that. Over here, you've got your multiplayer menu, which is where you can go to join up with people, obviously. And dead center, we have the mission select menu. They've changed it up a little bit from Gundam Breaker 1. The game's definitely got more of a story to it now. It takes place in different sections just around the globe. So you've got a tower in Africa, you've got a base in Panama, you've got the Great Canyon, and you've got the moon base. So there's a lot of different, like, environments to pick from here. I want to try and pick one that actually has a vehicle in it. Yeah, this one has a vehicle in it, because, yeah, they've added vehicles in. So anyway, while we're here, also, you press square and it actually takes you to a new set of missions called the I don't know what these are called, the Gundam Cafe and the Hobby Shop. I don't know what they call these off by heart, but yeah, it's a different set of missions that you can play with, like, 4-on-4 gameplay. I'll play a simple survival mission, then I'll go and play another different type of mission, because there's a bunch of different types of missions in Gundam Breaker, which is quite nice. So, this is a simple survival mission, we just make it to the end, and on the right there you can see we get treasure, which is stuff we get for getting a specific rank, and we get specific ranks by getting specific amounts of ace points. And then in the bottom right they've also got challenges, and these challenges are like, do specific things while in the level. Me, I've been doing relatively well enough to get nearly every challenge that I've run into along the way. So let's go. So, it's a bit of an odd way to start the mission once you've selected it. You just hold start. And it loads in, which is quite neat. It's very simplified, it's quite neat. And yeah, that's the control scheme. I've got a lot to talk about here, but I'll get through it. I always do. Alright, so here we are in Gundam Breaker 2, ladies and gentlemen. Game looks a ton better than Gundam Breaker 1. It's got a lot more detail to it. It's got a ton of, like, extra details. The texture's a little bit muddy, but I can live with that personally. Don't know if you can, but I can live with it. So the game is hack and slash at its base level. You have an attack button and a heavy attack button, and these can be chained together to form simple combos. There's actually a lot more combos and a few more different types of weapons than there were in Gundam Breaker 1. So they actually upgraded the game so that there's a ton of different combos you can do, and it never really feels old beating up these Gundams because of the way you can customize how you play with your fighting style. You can go unarmed, you can go with all sorts of different types of crap like whips. You've also got your EX attacks, as I've been showing off. As you can see here, all my EX abilities are currently 2 levels, so I can throw out this EX ability now for for having to recharge it again. But I suffer the consequence of having to use a weaker one. There's also a long-range button, which is the L button. That's my Vulcan gun. It's weak and it's puny, but I can use it to juggle and stun lock enemies, so it's actually quite useful. So you actually take parts off the enemy Gundams, and you use them, and you put them in your own collection. Oh, turret. I'll take this. And you take parts and put them in your own collection, which is quite neat. And in Gundam Breaker 1, you would need to do something silly along the lines of constantly grind for the same part just to get a really good quality one. But now, thankfully, since they took out like the star quality system that they put in Gundam Breaker 1, you don't have to worry about this anymore. You just, every part you get that's duplicated is automatically sold off for GP. So it's just building up your collection of Gundam parts from enemies that you fought before, and it's quite neat. And you also get materials that you grind from enemies and all that, so you know. It's like they didn't change anything at all, really. So, another thing that I like to talk about is the long range. The long range is not that different, but it's all bound to a single button now, which is quite neat. You don't have to worry about doing anything complex. You just hold down the button and hope you hit something. And shields also exist now as well. Shields actually have weapons and abilities. Like, I have 2 shields. This one is a long-range cannon that actually does a massive amount of damage. Oh yeah, by the way, a little thing I'd like to point out, all pieces that are dropped actually attract you automatically, which is neat, because you don't have to worry about going around and collecting them anymore, and the mission can end immediately without having to worry about everyone getting their hands on parts. You don't get loot boxes anymore, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah. It's worth it, because you get to just run around and all the parts come to you. It's quite neat. So yeah, there's a bunch of small tweaks in Gundam Breaker 2 that make it a lot more streamlined compared to Gundam Breaker 1, and it makes the game much more like pick up and play and much more strategic at the same time, because it's very easy to say, I want to get this weapon, I want to get this part, I want to do this, I want to do that. It is a ton of fun just to figure out what you want to do and then go and do it. Also, awakening time! So I actually changed my hue. Your awakening is actually red by default, but if you use a burst action, it actually changes the color of your... It actually changes the color of your thing, and if I tap it again... Boom! I know that's a waste of my awakening, but I just wanted to show that off, because I don't know if I'll be able to show it off again. Down here we go. And as I said before, the game looks great, and all the tiny little tweaks just make it look great, but at the same time, the texture resolution is a bit low, which you can't really fix. But at the same time, the frame rate tends to drop. Jesus Christ, I forgot about these guys. So, your texture resolution, yeah, your frame rate tends to drop, but the thing is, I don't know how they did this, really, and I know I'm going to sound like I'm saying that, frame rate's no problem, 30 FPS is king. You honestly get used to the frame rate dropping after a while. It honestly just fades into the background, and I don't know how they managed to do this. It's kind of freaky how I do not mind the frame rate drops that this game has that much. They adapted the game so that it really isn't that big of a deal that the game's frame rate drops, and I am a huge fan of doing that. They correctly made it so that the game works properly when at a low frame rate, and I can't help but give them credit for that. The people who made this game are absolutely great at what they do. Anyway, we're gonna let that time out. Well, that's not gonna happen. Screw it. Awakening, massive weapon of doom. And I completely fucking missed. That's just me in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, the basic goal of normal survival missions is just get to the end of the Gundam Gauntlet. And once you do, you are awarded with level ups and more stuff to do, and it's always engaging to level up, to get more stuff, to be able to equip and upgrade more stuff. It's always fun. Just to, you know, the grind is real, but at the same time, it is fun to do it, so I don't give a shit. So anyway, this will be our final boss, and they always come in through this box dropping, which is actually kind of neat. Hello. I'm just going to spend all my stuff, because once you go into Awakening mode, which is basically a super mode, you get stronger, you get faster, and your EX stuff replenishes quicker, so you can do EX moves nice and fast. So as you can see down at the bottom right there, my sword already replenished. It doesn't replenish anywhere near that fast. And now I'm going to try and do my super move again, but the chance of this hitting is actually quite low. Yeah! Thanks, game! That was the most anticlimactic thing ever. But seriously, I don't know how they managed to keep it so fun, beating up the same sort of shaped things over and over again, but they do. All the resource gathering and the leveling up and all that, it hooks into you and it makes you do it again and again and again, and it is stupidly fun to do. And you get all sorts of crazy crap for doing it, and I just leveled up to 39, and you get all these parts, and you get to see what they're like, and you even get to check out modules, and it's so good. It's so good. It's just so viscerally satisfying at the basis of levels, while giving you enough of a treadmill to go on to actually enjoy it along the path. I really hope the DLC they're planning on bringing out for this is through patch and not through DLC, because I really don't want to transfer, well, not transfer, but like restart my game back on the Japanese accounts, because I really want to play the bonus missions and stuff they've got planned, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, which is a big shame. But anyway, let's go play in the hobby shop. We'll go play, is this a defense mission? And it's a capture and defend mission. Okay, we'll go play a capture and defend mission. Considering this is difficulty 2, I'll just like breeze right through this without a problem, so you know. This will just be a nice little beat everything up, and then I'll play one more mission on a different level, and you know, try and be a little bit more punctual. But yeah, because I'm kind of out of stuff to say. I haven't had the chance to play online, as I said before, because their servers are down for some reason. But this game is seriously just, it is so good. And you don't need to know that much about Japanese either. There's a couple of screens you might want translated, but other than that, it's not a problem. Well, we might want to get point A while we're here. So basically, if you've played Battlefield or any sort of shooter that's ripped on this formula, you know exactly what's going on here. You attack the one of 3 points, and you attack one of 3 points, and if you're holding more than the enemy, you will. If you're holding some, you will slowly reduce the enemy's health, and once the enemy's health is completely gone, that's it. Mission's done. And the game does have a lot of variety in its mission types too. Like, there's survival missions, there's defense missions, and there's gauntlet missions, as I've shown already. And they're all very enjoyable by themselves. It's easy to have a ton of fun just going around, and that just one more mission feeling that you tend to get from a lot of games is here in style, and it is fantastically good. Would I recommend this over Gundam Breaker 1? Absolutely. But the thing is, Gundam Breaker 1 is actually like $30, $40 US on PlayAsia right now, because Gundam Breaker 1 is actually a PlayStation Vita the best title, and Japan, and we don't have that yet. It's the equivalent of the Platinum range. And we don't have that yet, unfortunately, but Japan does, and they have this game, they have Gundam Breaker 1 for like $40. So, it really depends. If you want to really spend your money on Gundam Breaker 2, go ahead. But Gundam Breaker 2 is like $40, and it is... Gundam Breaker 1 is $40, and it is really good as well. I really enjoyed Gundam Breaker 1, and then you can buy Gundam Breaker 2 and carry along your favorite Gundam and upgrade him all the way to the top. And it is seriously just... This game is fantastic. I mean, they made some massive, massive improvements in Gundam Breaker 1. Everything feels smoother and more streamlined. There's more stuff to do. it's not anywhere near as difficult or luck-based in order to actually get what you want now. And it is great. It is goddamn great. No, they actually replaced the Gundams halfway through. Not like that's going to save them. All the locations are very varied and different. They're really big levels with lots of different exits, so you're often coming at it from a different angle, and it's often quite enjoyable. Ooh, bike! Ah, damn! I wish I could get on that bike. There are lots of different silly vehicles too. Like there's a vehicle that is literally just a gigantic robotic buffalo. I'm not kidding. It is a giant buffalo. You ride around on it, and you completely destroy anyone you walk over, and it is magnificent. There's so much stuff. So much stuff to do. And seriously, this will take you at least 20 hours to get through easily. I mean, no goddamn way that it won't. And pray to the gods that they let us update and just have like the DLC in the patch. Please. Please, 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 Namco Bandai. Put the free DLC missions in the patches and not the DLC updates. It'll be easier on us and it'll be easier on you. But we just don't know yet, and I hope we find out soon, and I hope it's good news, but yeah. Still definitely worth the time and effort it takes to play it though. Gundam Breaker 2 is absolutely fantastic. I don't think I'll do a third mission, it's just the same thing, but this game is fantastic. Also, the music in it is great as well. It's magnificent. The hangar music, the hangar music is just a earworm. It just sticks, and it never goes away, and it is great. All sorts of different missions, hundreds of Gundams to collect. Pretty much anything you could possibly imagine in terms of robots fighting robots. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna steal this from him. Yay! I get the bike, and I get to knock him flat on his ass. And there are these huge boss battles that come from time to time too, which are also pretty damn neat. They're also actually really a challenge to stay alive on, which is quite nice. Take this, you son of a bitch. It's the quintessential Japanese import was Gundam Breaker, and now it's Gundam Breaker 2. Pick up the first game if you've got the time to go through the first game, then pick up the second one. If you have already gone through Gundam Breaker 1, pick up Gundam Breaker 2, it is definitely worth your time. This is coming from someone who really enjoyed Gundam Breaker and doesn't know shit about Gundams, and I still don't know shit about Gundams. All I know is that they're little plastic robots that beat the shit out of each other, and I would prefer it no other way. This is a seriously fantastic game, and there's absolutely no chance it'll be localized, because that's just the way things roll around Square Enix land. Highly, highly recommended. Probably the highlight of this entire series at this point. I don't know what else I have to... I don't have anything else to say. It's just... It's that good. I seriously don't think... You need to go and import this right now if you have the money. Hello! Come at me, mofos. Oh, it's actually a second phase. Interesting. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull out here because this is just going on long enough. I just got to remember how the bloody hell to get out of this. Oh yeah, you got to press triangle here. Okay, so that was a look at Gundam Breaker 2. Fantastic in every sense. Totally recommended. And if, yeah, no matter who you are, this is seriously a really, really good game. Unless you really, really hate hack and slashes for some reason, which maybe you do, maybe you don't. I'm not one to judge. But yeah, Gundam Breaker 2. Fantastic, highly recommended. Pick it up at your nearest convenience. This has been Blue Maximo, and I'll see you all next time.